And this is the part that's really fun, right? Is that there's no real right way to define a scope. It's all about what's important to the business. So in the old days, we would have said something like, hey, you got to start with the threat model, right? So the threat model is like, and that sounds really big, and oftentimes it becomes a big exercise, but I think about it in terms of more like basic threat models, right? So even just asking the question, what would make me text the CISO in the middle of the night? We start with that, right? I just write all that down in a list. Guess what? That's probably where I want to start. I have my first scope. It can be that simple to get started, and then you say, okay, well, what scanning and discovery do I need to do? How do I make sure that that stuff gets fixed and patched? How do I build a process to remediate inside of that workflow? And congratulations, you have effectively started on your CTEM journey just by doing that. So it's starting with the threat model or starting with the scope is how you do it. And the most common ways that we see is generally around things like business units or critical applications, or even just, hey, we have compliance requirements, right? And it gets really interesting when you start to talk about, well, we actually have different scopes for different things. We have compliance scopes that has one set of processes, and then we actually have, business criticality scopes over here. And then you can manage those differently, and it allows you to be a lot more precise in your processes. So it's like, how do you work on the process, not in the process?